boycotts. Does it show that although Washington is not supporting the boycott campaign, it does recognize that if the current status quo continues, international boycotts should actually take place?
Well, I think a careful diplomat, and I'm not characterizing Mr. Kerry as careful or not, but a careful diplomat would intend every word he utters and know what the likelihood of outcome of those words would be. Now, for better or for worse, Mr. Kerry uttered remarks that were provocative to Israel. I am certain, or I would think that he had a reason for saying those things in public rather than, perhaps more diplomatically, saying them in private. Depending on what was his intended outcome, and we see what the outcome has been. It has really driven a wedge, a rather acerbic, I should say, I would call it a dialogue, but it's hardly a dialogue, a banter back and forth between Israel and put distance between Israel and the United States in their positioning on this. And I can only think that those remarks may well have been intended. I think that they do not really contribute to what I would think would be a useful solution. However, this remains to play out. We have a couple of months remaining, barely a couple of months, in fact, less than 60 days, before we are to come up with this April deadline.
But Ms. Peterson,
there's a lot of time for things to right themselves, for this ship to right itself and to gain some balance and perspective and gain clear objectives of where it wants to go and row together toward a common horizon.
Well, you said then you used the word.
I am not certain that Mr. Kerry contributed to that.
Yeah, you used the word provocative. If you could just allow Mr. Ken O'Keefe to give his response as well. Mr. Keefe, do you think that the remarks by John Kerry were provocative? And do you think that the spat between Tel Aviv and Washington is really serious?
It's not serious, and let's talk about the truth, because I don't need to exaggerate in order to illustrate very clearly that the United States is not an honest broker in any kind of peace, and anybody who would think so is, again, clearly delusional. The United States has a relationship with Israel whereby it basically bilks the taxpayer